Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I'm Glenn. As always, I have Jan here with me at the studio, and together we are the
Night Parade Podcast. That is right. In this story, she just wanted to take her dog on a walk, but then her lifeless body was found on the beach. Here's the case of Toyah Cordingley. Let's get started.
Let's do it.
All right.
Toyah Cordingley. In October 2018, Toyah was walking her dog Indy on a quiet beach in Cairns, Australia. She never returned, and her body was discovered by her own father while searching Wangari Beach. At the time, she was only 24 years old, and she came from Moree, Australia. And this is her story. She was known as a positive girl with an upbeat personality. Her parents separated when she was young, but she enjoyed having two sets of parents anyway. She was close to them both. She loved adventure, she loved animals, and she loved coloring her hair. She worked as a pharmacist actually, but she volunteered at animal shelters in her spare time. She was dating Marco Heidenreich since 2016, and Marco had several snakes and dogs, including Indy. Now let's talk about that fateful day. It was October 21st, 2018. It was a Sunday. Toyah was working that morning at a pharmacy. She got off around 12 noon and stopped by Rusty's Market. This was actually caught on CCTV footage. After leaving the market, she drops the groceries off at her house, then drives to Marco's home. From there, she takes Indy on a leash and drives to Wangari Beach. She often did this to, visit quiet places just to clear her head.
Right. Just some alone time for her,
yeah. Yeah. I'm sure we could all relate to that.
Yeah, of course. I do that most of the time. Just, sitting in my car by the marina, looking at the sunset or the water.
Yeah, clear your head, get some space.
Yeah, after a long day, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it is good. Yeah. But unfortunately for Toyah, she never returned. And when it became 9 p.m. and Toyah still hadn't returned, Marco was worried sick. Now Toyah, she wasn't replying to any of her texts. And so, like any good boyfriend, Marco decides to call the police. He also calls Jack, who is Toyah's brother, and he told the rest of Toyah's family as well. The police searched Wangari Beach, but it was already around 10 p.m. and the beach was so dark. They decided to call off the search until the morning. But Vanessa, who is Toyah's mother, Jack, and Troy, who is Toyah's father, they become impatient with the police, and they decided to search the beach on their own. When they get to the beach, they spot Toyah's car, a 2009 blue Mitsubishi Lancer.
Nice car.
So they begin searching in the pitch black night. Can you imagine?
Damn.
That's difficult.
That's gotta be, for sure. Especially a beach.
Yeah. Can you imagine how anxious they must be feeling at this time? Just trying to find their daughter. They soon find the dog Indy. He was tied to a tree so tight that he couldn't even sit down. What? Yeah, it's awful. He must have been like that for hours.
Right.
Luckily though, he was unharmed, and Vanessa took him back to the car. The search continued throughout the night. Soon, the sun began to rise, and the beach became more visible. Then Troy spotted something protruding from the sand in the distance, so he ran towards it. As he got closer and closer, he looked at it, and it looked to be like a human foot. So he dug when he got there.
Right.
And unfortunately, it was his daughter. Wow. She was in a shallow grave, and she was naked. Her body had multiple stab wounds. And 1 week later, they laid her to rest, and more than 400 people came, including Indy. Yeah.
Must have been really tough.
Yeah, devastating.
Really tough, especially for her father, who found her.
Yeah.
That's...
Poor guy.
If you were her father, you wouldn't even want her to be that person you're digging up.
Yeah.
You want it to be somebody else. Right? But, man... That's intense.
That's horrible.
That's very horrible. But the big question is, who did it? All of Toyah's friends and families were questioned, obviously, and they all had alibis. She was a loved woman with no visible enemies. Despite this, she was attacked in broad daylight, where she was walking her dog, and her attacker got away so easily that it almost did not make any sense. Now, the police reached out to the public for help, releasing CCTV footage from Rusty's Market where you could see Toyah, obviously, right? And a surveillance footage from a traffic light showing several cars passing through at that time. The investigators came up with a list of possible suspects, and they were able to hone in one specific person. His name is Rajwinder Singh, from the city of Amritsar in India. Immigrant to Innisfail, Australia, he was a geriatric nurse. He had a wife, 3 kids, and he could speak 3 languages, which is really impressive.
Yeah, so he wasn't stupid.
Right. Now, his colleagues said that he was a quiet and isolated man. During October 2018, they said he grew depressed and even more isolated from his buddy. And his car was one of the cars passing in the surveillance footage. Witnesses saw his car driving suspiciously in the area in the hours before the attack on Toyah. One witness claimed to see him covered with scratches and bite marks as if he had just gone through some type of struggle. His family confirmed that he did go to Ken's that day. They said he was in a frantic state when he returned from his errand. Later that night, he snuck out the house and he flew to Sydney and stayed one night at his sister's. And the next morning, he flew back to India.
Pretty suspicious.
Yeah, it's really suspicious. Investigators wouldn't link him to the crime until weeks later. They found that he booked his plane tickets on the same night that Toyah was murdered.
Even more suspicious.
Exactly. Why would he leave his wife and 3 kids?
Wow.
Not only that, he has a newborn baby.
Why would you leave them?
And you're a geriatric nurse already here in the States.
He had a life, a good life.
Exactly.
Going for him.
So it didn't make sense. Or not here in the States, but in Australia.
Oh, yeah, in Australia.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Very suspicious.
Very.
Very suspicious. 1 year later, the Indian authorities still hasn't received the extradition request for Rajwinder Singh. If you guys don't know, extradition means it's an agreement between 2 countries to hand over a suspect wanted from the other country. The process is slow and complex. Investigators needed enough evidence to fully prosecute Singh. Obviously, that's one. And if they failed, they wouldn't get another chance to extradite Singh, to bring him back to Australia and prosecute him.
He can run
there.
away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But in 2022, they finally sent the request, and the Indian authorities conducted their own investigation.
Which brings us to today. A few days ago, Rajwinder Singh was finally taken back to Queensland, Australia. He's been officially charged with the murder of Toyah Cordingley. It's been more than 4 years.
It was a slow process, but it got there.
Yeah.
It got there.
Finally. Get this guy. Now he's awaiting trial.
Yes.
So hopefully we'll see him doing life.
Oh yeah.
Or even worse.
Something worse. Yeah.
We'll see.
Death penalty maybe. I don't know.
Now there is a memorial stone dedicated to Toyah on Wangari Beach. Her friends and family built it on the 1-year anniversary of her death. So after Rajwinder's return to Queensland, after Rajwinder's official charge for Toyah's murder, Troy and Vanessa both came out with statements. Toyah Cordingley had this to say: "The return to Australia of one of the main suspects of Toyah's case is one more step in the process I can cross off my list. This is a very difficult time for me, both mentally and physically, but it is positive news." And Vanessa had this to say: "Now we wait patiently for the justice our beautiful daughter deserves." All right. Any thoughts
Man,
on Toyah's case?
That's just really heartbreaking,
She was just out walking her dog.
Yeah, and it's not like the guy was bad in any case. Well, regardless of, outside of this whole situation, the dude was a nurse, who's meant to basically
Help
serve
people
and protect other patients, right? And he has 3 kids, 1 newborn, and happily married, or I don't know if it's happily, but he's married.
Yeah.
Right? So it was so random that it was really heartbreaking.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
It makes you think, was he always this type of person?
Right.
Or, was he deep down inside just hiding it?
Yeah. It's almost like he's been pretending to be the man of the family that he is, or the family man that he is, but deep inside he's always been like this. It just came out now.
Right. You also wonder, maybe something had to have happened for him to act in this way.
Yeah, and he was thinking a lot because, he was isolating himself from a lot of his buddies. Once I start doing that to y'all, you better make sure that, I come back to reality, because I don't want any of this to happen to me.
Oh, yeah.
This is some dark shit.
Yeah,
Because that dude must have been fighting demons.
There's something
Something,
Yeah.
for sure. Because he was doing that for a reason. He was isolating himself for a reason. He was depressed for a reason.
Yeah.
And
Could have been problems with his marriage,
Right.
problems with his job. Who knows?
At some point, he just broke down and just gave up.
Went
I
haywire.
guess. Yeah.
Did this to
Went
an innocent
off the
girl.
rails.
Yeah.
For sure.
And unfortunately, poor Toyah had to suffer because of it.
Right, exactly. And, you know, his family has to suffer too. It's not only Toyah's family who, you know, who got affected by this.
His family too. Yeah, his wife.
He has 3 kids.
His kids are now they have a dad in prison.
Yeah.
That's
A
crazy.
dad who murdered somebody.
Yeah.
Not just in prison. I could have a dad in prison, but if I have a dad who
Who murdered
murdered
somebody,
somebody out of just, you know, being sad or something,
Yeah, it's crazy.
that is insane.
That's up.
Wow.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Like having a dad who murdered somebody.
Ooh,
Like,
that's
how can you look up to
so
somebody
someone
like that?
who is innocent
Mm-hmm.
and just really was out there for a walk, you know.
Mhm.
But if my dad maybe murdered like a pedophile, I'd be proud.
Yeah, but this was a little girl.
Yeah, this is someone who had a lot going on for her. She had a
Mhm.
bright future ahead of her,
Exactly.
and a lot of people loved her.
Like she was a good person.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't deserve any of it.
Not at all.
So that's why it's so heartbreaking that she had to go through that. Multiple stab wounds, dude.
Yeah. Oh man,
That's too much.
that poor girl. This guy's a monster,
He really is.
Rajwinder
He
Singh.
is.
and I'm sure he's gonna get what's coming to him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait.
Yeah. Heck yeah. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. This was a tragic case of Toyah Cordingley. She seemed like a great person, and she really didn't deserve this. Fortunately, though, Rajwinder Singh is now in custody and is awaiting trial.
That's right. And if you guys enjoyed today's episode, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment maybe, and hit that notification bell button so that you know when we're uploading these videos. With that being said, again, my name is Jan.
And I'm Glenn. Welcome to the Night Parade. And Marco had several snakes and dogs, including Indy. And, yeah. It's pretty abrupt. Okay.
Yeah. How about you do that where I am right now, and then I'll do where you at right there. Who did it? I'll do who did it, and then you'll continue with the faithful day. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.